Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Everything Possible in New Game Plus here in Dark Souls 2, and today we're going to tackle the Lost Bastille, Belfry Luna, and Sinner's Rise all in one. Now, coming over to grab this item, these items haven't changed, but you'll probably notice something a little bit different down in this platform. We now actually have 2 extra Undead jailers that were not there in New Game. Now something that needs some confirmation, if you want to help me out, let me know in the comments below. According to some of the wikis, and according to my experience, the Royal Swordsman now drop Radiant Lifegems pretty frequently in New Game Plus. I don't remember them dropping any in New Game, so let me know if that's your experience as well, and maybe we can put that theory to rest. I do want to take just a quick moment and talk about New Game Plus spawning mechanics for the extra enemies and the Black Phantoms that we encounter. When I was doing the Heide's Tower of Flame video, I mentioned that it seems like all of the extra enemies exclusive to New Game Plus have a spawn counter of only 1. However, while doing this video, I actually noticed that that's not true. Here's what I seem to think it is. If it is a Black Phantom enemy that is not supposed to be in that area, in other words, if they don't fit the other enemies in the area, they only have a spawn counter of 1. If they are a normal enemy, but they belong in that area, such as the Old Knights in Heide's Tower, then they have a spawn counter of 1. However, if it is a Black Phantom enemy that belongs in the area, such as the Undead jailers that we'll see in a little bit, they have a normal 12 spawn counter. In this tower above Lucatil, we do have 5 large Titanite shards instead of the single one in New Game. And moving on to the other side of the Lost Bastille, as you saw at the end of the last video, we do have this Black Phantom Undead jailer who is here and who does have a spawning mechanic of at least 12. It seems to be 12, just like all the other normal enemies. Again, if that's incorrect or if your experience has been different, please let me know. The wikis are surprisingly light on New Game Plus information, so I'm trying to put together sort of a compendium just for my own reference. So if you have anything to add, please don't hesitate to let me know. And of course, we do have our good friend, the Heide Knight over here, using his spear. But we are going to hope that he drops actually a piece of his armor instead of his spear again. What I am not sure is, do the Heide Knights drop either their weapon or a piece of their armor? Or can, in rare circumstances, you actually get one of each? I'm quiet because I'm waiting for you to answer. I'm also quiet because I knew that I was about to die. And because I knew you couldn't actually answer in real time. So let's go ahead and speed that return up. It's a lot more exciting to fight in 300% speed anyway. Speaking of which, if you never saw any of the mods for Dark Souls 1 where it actually allowed you to play in 2 times or even 3 times the normal speed, that was pretty intense. Kind of like camping. And the circus. And we got the Heide Knight Greathelm. Alright, so armor piece number 1 from the Heide set complete. You'll notice I did actually put on some item discovery just to increase the chances of the armor dropping. Okay, next, fast forwarding, and now this is the room where you put in the Ferrous Lockstone in order to get some of the items in the Lost Bastille. And this took me by surprise. I was just trying to get this shortcut so we could start working towards the Ruined Sentinels. And look, they actually blocked it with a Black Phantom dog. Well done. That is not the only time that I'll be surprised by some of the Black Phantom dogs in this area. In fact, had I been doing live commentary, there may have been some edits, some cuts in order to keep the commentary clean. Maybe. Now showing this enemy down here, this is an extra Royal Swordsman who is guarding the ladder to the Ruined Sentinels. The items are the same, I just want to show that extra enemy. Alright, so let's take on the Ruined Sentinels now. Now this boss fight is identical, other than the fact that they hit harder and they have more HP. I did summon Pilgrim Belclair. I like to have some cannon fodder, as you well know. And we're going to use our Crystal Magic weapon and give it a shot. Well, not a great start, having him fall off right now. Go ahead and get a little bit of damage with our fire bombs. Now let me just take a moment right now to kind of laud on Pilgrim Belclair. Pilgrim Belclair is a phenomenally useful NPC. If that is, she can both stay alive and stay on this platform. However, if she falls off while she's trying to attack the other two Rune Sentinels, or if she gets knocked off, the battle becomes much more difficult. So I'm going to try to keep her up here with me as long as I can and try to fight the Rune Sentinels up on this platform. Makes for a much more controlled fight. That being said, this is starting to look a little bit dicey. Especially now that I'm the one who decided to roll off. However, the fight goes really well. In fact, Pilgrim Belclair stays up on the ledge for the most part and actually starts whittling down Ricci while I handle Alicia. The problem comes right here, where Rune Sentinel Alicia decides to completely troll me for the rest of the fight and turtles behind the shield. This makes the fight a lot more difficult because I know if I actually try to attack that shield, I'm going to do piddly damage. So all I can do is hope that Pilgrim Belclair takes out Ricci. Oh, never mind. She hopped down. Well, now maybe that there's two targets, I can open up and get some shots. Okay, not great, but still, they don't have much health left either. And what a bad time to use a life gem. Lesai. Well, let's try that again. Same tactic as before. Again, goal is to stay up on this ledge, avoid all hits if possible, which clearly isn't for me. And we'll just let Pilgrim Belclair take her out. Okay, no worries, we'll just wait until the Rune Sentinel comes back up, and we'll just wait up here on the ledge. I don't know how that just happened. I'm not sure why I thought gravity did not apply in my situation, but here I am with the first Rune Sentinel just at half health, and I'm now on the ground floor. Not an ideal situation. However, Pilgrim Belclair is doing an absolute number on Yam. However you say it. So now we have a 2v2 situation. Last time that did not work out so well. But we'll see. Again, I already know how this ends. You don't. Maybe I die again and I delete my Dark Souls 2 save. And I join a monastery in Tibet. You don't know. I do. That's the beauty of post-commentary. Got some turtling going on again. I'm so glad that I've decided to finally start using swords to block, especially with these dreaded spin attacks. Fortunately, I do seem to have all of their aggro, so Pilgrim Belclair can just hang in the back and shoot soul spears like she does best. In fact, at this point, it might be fair to say that she's actually done more damage to this boss than I have. Almost just took that leaping attack as I was healing yet again. Fortunately not. And the spin didn't block it this time. I'll tell you, at this point in the fight, it started to get really hairy. By the way, if you have some really fast reflexes, of which I do not, you can actually hit the shield throw out of the air with a well-timed strike. Trying to find an opportunity to heal, really not presenting itself. Hopefully Pilgrim Belclair will take the aggro. She does not. Very concerned that that was about to be the end for me. But actually, Pilgrim Belclair took her out. We'll have a couple of victory sips together. She'll shoot a wall in celebration. And that's Rune Sentinels on New Game Plus. Now, there are several hidden doors in this area that I'm sure you're well aware of. This one at the top of the stairs is the only one that has anything different in it. Normally in New Game, you would open this chest and you'd get a single Rouge water. This time, you'll actually get 3 Crimson waters, which give you many more spell uses in return. And here we are, skipping forward all the way to the gargoyle fight because there's nothing different in between the Rune Sentinels in here other than the Crimson Water. So let's go ahead and give this a try. Now, if you remember in my previous series, I used Lightning Spear, and this boss was a bit of a joke. Here I am testing out the leaping attack, which, hooray, you can actually get some damage done before that first gargoyle even leaves his pedestal. Now, I have to say that this is actually the second time that I have attempted the gargoyles in New Game Plus. Luckily, I have the save backed up. I was actually having a really good fight. It was a very long fight. It was a lot of turtling, a lot of healing, but it seemed like I had the upper hand. In fact, I only had the last two gargoyles left, and they were pretty low in health, both of them. I then had a piece of software pop up and asked me to upgrade, which stopped Fraps from recording, and it also corrupted that save file. So if you're using PC, it's very easy to create a save backup. I highly recommend you do it every now and then. If you're playing on the 360 or the PS3, there are ways to do it using either a flash drive on the 360 or the cloud save feature if you have PlayStation Plus on your PS3. I'm not overly familiar with those techniques, so you may want to look that up if you'd like to do that. So here I am in my first time ever fighting 3 of the gargoyles at the same time using melee only, and I was a bit nervous. However, now I'm back to the 2v1. Which is my preferred. It's not true. I like 1v1 the best. I actually really like 0v1. You know, when you just get to run around, you don't have to worry about anything, but apparently that was not in the cards for this fight. Now, this fight is not overly easy. However, I would not say that this is the most difficult fight in Dark Souls 2, because not only do they telegraph most of their attacks very well, they also have some significant openings afterwards, both for attacking and healing, or in this case, getting hit. Again. I'm just realizing now just how little damage I've done to them so far in this fight. Here I am, apparently tried to cast Sunlight Blade at them with my chime. Not the best decision. That's just too close for comfort. And that could have been it. Had that attack landed, that would have been this fight over. They also seem to use this lightning attack more in New Game Plus than I remember in New Game. In fact, I know in the last series they didn't use it at all, but I may have killed them too quickly for it. Always nice when you can hit them together. That leaping backwards attack gets me every time. Alright, down to the final 2 gargoyles. One of them's already breathing fire, so this could be doable. We'll just have to wait and see. While I'm finishing off this fight, for better or for worse, I need to ask a question because I'm curious about it, and someone had actually just posted it on the previous Belfry Luna video. They had said that the only time you'll be invaded by the Dark Spirit Bellkeeper when you're playing offline is if you're in the Bellkeeper Covenant. Now, I did not take notice if that was true during the last video. However, here in New Game Plus, obviously you can see I'm part of the Sunlight Covenant, and I was invaded by the offline Dark Spirit Bellkeeper. So Is that your experience? You're supposed to be in the Covenant for them to invade? Or is that a 100% if you're offline, you're going to be invaded by that Dark Spirit? One last Gargoyle, already below 50% HP, so he's going to start using his Flame Attack a lot more, which is good news for me. Now with those down, not only do you get the Gargoyle Soul, but you actually get the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring +2 to further increase your item discovery. Now I was actually about to cut the video here because I stupidly assumed that there wouldn't be anything new and dangerous coming up just yet, and then this happened. And truth be told, I honestly thought that this was going to be the end of me. I thought I could take on gargoyles, but 2 Black Phantom stray dogs? Not so much. Fortunately, my quick reflexes were able to defuse the situation. And by quick reflexes, of course, I mean I spammed the attack button over and over and over again. Now here's one of the biggest changes in New Game Plus. Inside this closet, there's still a skeleton. Moving right along, in the cell next to Strayed, using the Bastille key. Normally we had a Petrified Dragon Bone and Fire Bombs, and instead now we have the Resplendant Life Miracle, which can only be picked up for free in this location in New Game Plus or higher. Otherwise you do have to buy that spell. In New Game, behind this Royal Swordsman, there were 8 regular Lifegems, and now magically they're Radiant Lifegems. How about that? Next we go into the water-filled basement of Sinner's Rise, and past that Enhanced Undead, we have a Black Phantom Undead Citizen. Now this one is unique, you don't want to kill this one. What you want to do is let it explode in your face for maximum damage possible. That's my preference, you can choose to follow it or not. With that area clear, we are going to light the 2 torches again on either side of the Lost Sinners battle arena. But before we do that, on either side, we do have a Black Phantom Undead Jailer to deal with. Now, one of the tricks to remember, not only in New Game Plus, but in New Game as well, is that many items have very little to no poise. So while they will do massive damage on you if you give them the opportunity, you can typically either stun lock or interrupt their attacks by placing one of your own. So make sure you're keeping enough stamina to protect yourself. Stamina is not only about dealing damage, sometimes it's protecting yourself as well. This Radiant Life Gem hasn't changed, so let's just run over and take care of this last Undead Jailer. And then we'll run back, we'll grab Lucatiel, and we'll take on the Lost Sinner. And the Lost Sinner boss fight has changed, as you'll see in just a moment, as well as the souls that you actually acquire from killing her. And I don't mean the number of souls, I mean the actual souls that will drop. It's a good thing we got that Flame Butterfly from Nashka. If not, we would only have 38 instead of 39. And now, with Lucatiel in tow, we can try our hand at the first great one in New Game Plus. Now the changes to this fight are that once the Lost Sinner is brought down to roughly 2/3 of her health, it might even be only 25%, I'm not really sure of the exact number, 2 Pyromancers will actually drop down and join the fight as well. Now the reasons that I summon Lucatiel are, number 1, I really like to complete her quest just like I did in the last series, but also because it's really nice to have the Lost Sinner focus on Lucatiel. It does seem that Lucatiel can actually take the aggro pretty well. However, once the Pyromancers drop down, if I don't deal with them quickly, Lucatiel, even with her buff, is not going to last very long. Still love all the crazy writing on the floor. Okay, they should be dropping down here shortly. Oh, it sounds like something's behind me. Sure enough, here's the first one. Now, just like the ads in the Flexile Sentry, very easy to take down. The problem is you need the opportunity to actually kill them without the boss focusing on you as well. So with those 2 ads down, the Lost Sinner boss fight is just the same as it was in New Game. Again, just added damage that she does to you and more HP. I guess one of the other changes is the inability of me to actually inflict any damage on the Lost Sinner right at the end of the fight. Lucatiel is getting very close to dead. I'm also very close to dying. And that would have done it. Can I? I can. Of course I can. I mean, come on. Come on. And with that, we have the Soul of the Lost Sinner again, but we also got the Old Witch's Soul. A very clear, and in my opinion, very cool throwback to the Witch of Izalith back in Dark Souls 1. So let's go ahead and read that description. This once magnificent soul continues to exert influence over the land even after the eons have reduced it to these remnants. Very cool. So that is the Lost Bastille, Belfry Luna, and Sinner's Rise all in one. That is everything different in New Game Plus. If I missed anything, let me know. If you learned something, drop a comment below and let me know that as well. In this chest, we just get another Fragrant Branch of Yore and Elizabeth Mushroom, same as in New Game. But let us go light and enjoy the warmth of our very first Primal Bonfire in New Game Plus. And once again, for those of you who didn't hear it in the first video, this is my first time actually running New Game Plus in Dark Souls 2. You're seeing it here first. I did use the Old Witch's Soul to pick up the Flame Weapon by trading with Strayed, which is very exciting because now we have another addition to our builds and we can become more versatile. I hope you guys enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and I will catch you guys next time.